Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome back to your very own Tribe Before You Buy channel with your host Karamullah Kadwani. So we are still celebrating the 4,000 subscribers and my wifey's birthday. I shall put in a plug-in photo of my wife and I. I went out. You see that I've changed my top and I'm now in a t-shirt. I'm in a t-shirt because it is rather hot outside. I mean, it's really hot outside. Dubai summers are crazy. And the humidity, it's getting. I hope it'll subside, it'll die down, and hopefully we'll have winter soon. Today is going to be all about Oud Palao from the House of Diptique. It was released in 2015 and heavily inspired by Oud Ispahan from the Privé line of Maison Christian Dior, as per my nose. And of course, a nose of a lot of other reviewers. I'm late to the bandwagon. Yeah, I'm doing this review pretty late because I got into reviewing fragrances pretty late in my journey. This will not be an in-depth review, rather a quick overview of how I see Oud Palao and compare it to Oud Ispahan from the House of Christian Dior in the Privé collection. That out of the way, if this is the kind of the content you like watching, please do like, share and subscribe to my channel as the channel and I are still in its infant stages, trying to bring you my overviews, price points and alternatives where possible. I have noticed that more than 80% of my viewers still haven't subscribed. Watching the ads, commenting helps the algorithm and helps my channel in the long run, as we pay full retails on my perfumes, as I've said time and again. I'm not on any kind of a free bottle brigade and brands do not sponsor me for bringing you these overviews. Also, now that I'll be sharing my wife's photo, I hope you will shower your love and blessings and fill in the comments wishing her a very, very happy birthday, because without her I probably would not be here in front of you or have these fragrances or bring my overviews. And she supported me. She supported me in words I cannot describe, in a heartfelt gratitude I cannot express. Words will fall short always to say how much I love her and how much I treasure her. Every moment with her for me is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I am very, very, very lucky to have her as my life partner, my spouse, my friend. She becomes my mother at times. She has to, but alhamdulillah, I'm so blessed. So let's quickly go over the notes. We discussed this in the morning in the Oud Ispahan review that I did, but we'll go over it again. Main accords for Oud Palao: woody, oriental, spicy, floral, smoky. Fragrance notes: Laotian oud, Bulgarian rose, Somalian frankincense, Ceylonese sandalwood, Indonesian patchouli. That is so specific. I mean, the note listing. Nagamotha, also known as Cypriol, Spanish cistus, and bourbon vanilla. The scoop, if you may, as complex and gorgeous as the Zelige mosaic tiles from which it takes its inspiration. Diptyque's first foray into oud fragrance is an enchanting, exotic work of art all its own. Built around the titular Palao, a robust and renowned oud extract found only in northern Laos, Oud Palao showcases all aspects of this wondrous ingredient. Dark woods, sensual animalics, and creamy depths, all balanced against rich Bulgarian rose and a deep spiritual incense blend. In the smooth, rich dry down, sandalwood and vanilla add depth and longevity, while the lusciously elegant oud lingers, delivering a perfectly measured drop of smokiness alongside light earthy patchouli and resinous labdanum. The resultant balance is so smooth, so sumptuous, and so easy to love that we can picture it holding center stage at the most lavish of galas, or just as easily keeping you company by a roaring fire on a moonlit night. In other words, as perfect of an oud fragrance as Oud Palao, maybe, it is first and foremost a perfect diptyque. I quite agree with that scoop though. So let's get into this. And I'd like to start by saying it's an oud based fragrance, not for the timid to say the least. It has dark, earthy facets with straight up animalics. So if you're not a fan of animalics, this may not be for you. I'm not saying that there's no real oud, but let's just say there's a synthetic oud accord done well with castoreum, giving it that animalic leather like quality, and civet giving it that animalic funk that only civet could bring to a composition. I could be completely off, but at that price point, besides this, just the way my nose breaks this down. So, I think this is a 75 ml bottle. All the new Diptyque bottles, the Eau de Parfums, come with black shoulder sides, if I may, with a clear bottle, and the plaque. I think they are 75 ml, and retails for about 900 dirhams, give and take. So a real oud composition at 900 dirhams for 75 ml. Straight up from the get-go, you have this animalic oud, but the balancer, which I've often said brings interest to a scent and is just so often crucial, which can either make or break a fragrance composition. Here it's done to perfection with the rose that brings in a hint of sweetness and powderiness and keeps it from going all the way out into an animalic barnyard fecal kind of a direction. I get a further hint of sweetness attributed by the note of rum. You have yet another balancer, and tobacco kicks in, but with herbaceous like qualities that shine through. So you have the underlying earthy patchouli in there and sweeter notes holding this composition together and kind of uplifting the scent. You have a layer of creaminess. You have a layer of creaminess with the sandalwood. Sweetness is further accentuated by the note of vanilla, but everything is so well balanced here in this composition, done just right, and prevents it from going tooth-achingly sweet. Rather, just a hint prevents it from going out in either direction. So it's neither can be classified a gourmand, which I do not like sweet fragrances, and you couldn't say it's an all-out animalic composition either. On the dry down, this is much similar to Oud Ispahan, but in the dry down, this is much similar to Oud Ispahan. But I guess with Oud Ispahan, as I mentioned in my review for Oud Ispahan, has a much bigger, in-your-face, jammy Middle Eastern rose. Also, it's more powdery nuances with the rose in that one, in Oud Ispahan, as compared to Oud Palao. The extrait though, the Esprit de Parfum version of Oud Ispahan that Mason Francis Kirkjan has done, hits it just out of the park. It's intense, it's heavy, it's resinous, it's really something to experience. I'd say the performance on Oud Ispahan has, in my experience, I've seen with the previous bottles, I think it had a heft. It perhaps was more oomphy than the current versions, which, as per my nose, are kind of watered down. And you might argue with the fact that Oud Ispahan is a much better fragrance than Diptyque, Oud Palao. But I'll tell you something with the newer Diptyque bottles. I've seen this with Banjo and Bohème as well, which was perhaps more hefty. I'm giving you that reference because I've let air sit into the bottle. I've let oxygen seep in by spraying it a couple of times and just keeping it aside for about 6 to 7 months, and it's come back stronger, a little bit more rich, with more nuances. And I can speak that is also true for Oud Palao. So I've kept this, I sprayed this, and then I've kept it aside for some time, and it's come back stronger. If you compare the current version for Oud Isfahan, I'm not talking about Esprit de Parfum, which is 1,800 dirhams for about 80 mil. This one's 900, close to 900 dirhams for 75 mil. And but I'm talking about the EDP. So the EDP for Oud Palao, if you ask me, spray, keep it aside, spray it a couple of times, keep it aside. Maybe purchase it during the summers, and so you can wear it in the winters once it's kind of maturated for like 6 months. Oxygen come into the bottle, making it richer, deeper, longer lasting. It's more intense than it was 6 months ago. That's something I can vouch for. Oud Isfahan's, a few of the notes pop much more, but through the hours, I think they dry down almost the same. With Oud Isfahan, like the Esprit, I think you have more of the animalic nuances, but straight off the bat with the EDP, this is perhaps more animalic than the opening of Oud Isfahan, and vice versa. It's just, I think it depends on the day, it depends on the time that you're wearing the fragrance. Season could perhaps dictate the strength, but as per my nose, off the bottle, honestly, after letting it sit for a bit, this comes off stronger from the sprayer, the atomizer. Oud Isfahan's kind of watered down, if you ask me honestly, but both kind of, you need to pick your battles. You either want something that's it could be a brand bias. A lot of people would say Dior. I myself would lean towards Dior, but after experiencing Diptique, Oud Palao, sitting for a bit, I lay both together, as I mentioned in the Oud Isfahan review, if you will. And so I get best of both the worlds. I think this perhaps is more stronger on the animalics in the opening. Let's talk about the dry down. So the animalics, it starts losing out on, but still linger in the air. It's not like the oud's gone completely. You do get the oud well into the dry down, but in the beginning it's kind of more intense, and then it kind of lingers in the air. It's more of a creamy sandalwood. If you were to ask me, vanilla and the resinous labdanum picks up in the dry down for Oud Palao. I still enjoy time to time, but see myself leaning towards either fragrances. Depends on the time of the day, depends on what I'd like to carry, and often I'd layer both together. Once I have the Esprit de Parfum concentration for Oud Isfahan, I suppose I'll layer it with Oud Isfahan, or I might layer it with Oud Palao as well, the Esprit de Parfum, because it's much intense. It's a fragrance that you need to experience to actually appreciate it. It's done well. I'd say I'd say Francis Sturgeon kind of hit it out of the park with at least the three I've tried so far. That is Dior, Oud Isfahan, and Amber Nuit. If you ask me to rate these three in order of preference, I love Oud Isfahan. Kind of my heart goes out to Oud Isfahan, Dior, and Amber Nuit. But these are, the places are switched. I mean, I can switch the rankings for these someday. Maybe towards the winters, I think I'd enjoy Amber Nuit more. But at the moment, I'm enjoying. I mean, I like Oud Isfahan a bit better than Amber Nuit. So Amber Nuit, Oud Isfahan 1 and 2, and Dior on 3rd for sure. These are just my 2 cents, not the currency cents. I mean SCENTS. It's a pun. It's a bad one. Yeah, I'm sorry. So before we completely sign off for the day, or I might do another one, I'm just kind of tripping. Having the 4,000 subscribers that I do, I am so grateful to each and every one of you. I would want to bring in more reviews as much as possible and try to fill in the gap that I left in between when I wasn't doing my reviews. I would love to show you the presentation for Oud Palao, and I must say that I do love the presentation, the sleeve, the box. It's kind of fancy, so I was trying to slide this and it won't slide the first time. It might slide, but it kind of bends. So you need to open this like so. Let me try to show it to you on camera. Yeah. So you need to open this up like so, and this one comes out with a kind of motif that says Diptique. I think it says the name of the perfume as well. Yes, it does. Oud Palao, the perfume that we have been discussing so far. You open the box like so, and it comes in a sleeve. The perfume bottle is housed in this styrofoam like, and it's housed, it's proper. It sits well in the packaging. That's how the box comes together. So you kind of put this like so, and then this kind of clips in and locks the sleeve. It's beautiful. It's a nice packaging. The atomizers for Diptique are good. They're comparable to some of the other leading brands. I do like the sprays, and just for the benefit of the audience, we shall spray this. Whoa, look at that mist. It's super. The atomizers are like pretty good. I'm very happy with the atomizers. I'm happy with the purchase. I love this fragrance. I do love other fragrances from the House of Diptique, namely Tempo is their patchouli based scent. There is Eau Capital, which I think is their rose patchouli kind of a combination. You have Eau Rose, which is an homage to rose, I suppose. You have Eau Duel, which is a vanilla based fragrance. Benzoin Bohème, my absolute favorite benzoin fragrance that could be in the game. And we'll cut to the outro. Do let me know your thoughts. Also let me know if you already have this gem of a composition in your arsenal, or if you're at least interested in giving it a try after watching this review. Please do give me a thumbs up if you take anything of value from this review. Do please shower your comments wishing my wife a very happy birthday, and best wishes from me to her as well. Do share your experiences, and don't forget to comment. Feel free to ask me any question, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my capability. Until the next time, your host Kanumallah Kadwani signing out.